Another thing that happens to individuals who are working out in the gym is that they might get hurt. They might get injured. They might just decide, screw it. I'm going to take some time off the gym because I want to enjoy my life. By the way, if that's you, the best way to enjoy your life is to continue working out, to feel better, and then enjoy your life. Gotcha. Okay, so when it comes to taking breaks and then coming back after a long hiatus, there should be a few things that we talk about. So the first, and arguably in my opinion, one of the most important things is, why were you absent from the gym to begin with? Are you somebody who, kind of like I just said, maybe just wanted to take a little bit of a break? You decided, I'm just not feeling this right now. I don't really want to work out, and it is what it is. I'm just not going to work out. Is that you? Are you somebody who hasn't worked out for a while because of illness? Did you have maybe a couple weeks of the flu? Or maybe you even had something more serious, like you had a cancer diagnosis. If you had a lot of stress too, maybe it could be work-related stress. Maybe this could be stress from your relationships, and you just decided at that point that you weren't going to work out because of that exact reason. Just too stressed, too much to worry and deal about, right? Were you injured? Did you have a pickup basketball game with your friends and you accidentally tweaked something in your ankle that needed 12 weeks of physical therapy? Did you have a work-related injury where normally you have to pick up a bunch of boxes or do some heavy machinery work, and maybe, God forbid, you accidentally chopped off a little bit of your finger and you needed to take some time away for that? Maybe you were actually doing some stuff in the gym and it's just been a really progressive nagging injury that's kind of lasted a long time. Whatever spectrum you are of why you actually took time off the gym will really dictate ultimately what your action is going to be when you go back to your workout routine. So we'll first talk about somebody who was apparently healthy. This could be somebody, kind of like we mentioned, who just wanted to take some time away from the gym because they wanted to go enjoy their life. They just didn't feel like really working out too much, right? So what I would say for them is, depending on how high level of their activity was, but I'm going to be assuming that most people who are watching this are probably going to be just looking for general fitness, not too high level of an athlete or too high level of fitness, so just generally fit. They could probably resume their normal physical activity routine. What I would do, though, is not to completely go all the way back into normal. And now what I would actually do is to cut back the volume and intensity a little bit. And then at the same time, you could also double down on kind of lower impact forms of cardiovascular activity. So for an example, kind of what I queued up here is, let's say somebody normally does a 10-minute jog, and then they do 30 minutes of a weight training session after that. It doesn't particularly matter what kind of weight training session, but maybe, they're just doing a circuit, right? A weight training circuit. And then they do 10 minutes of stretching, okay? So how I might kind of work through this a little bit and make it a little bit easier is to still do a warm-up, but instead of jogging, maybe we're just gonna walk for 10 minutes. A little more lower impact, right? We're trying to get our joints used to working out again. And then instead of 30 minutes weights, maybe for the first couple weeks, you just do 15 minutes of the weight session. You cut back the overall volume that you normally did. And then afterwards, 20 minutes of stretching versus 10 minutes of stretching, get a little more stretching in, just because it's, again, really lower impact. It's not going to ultimately do as much on your body in a sense of beating yourself up so you need recovery, and it's still keeping you in the gym. So you won't feel like, oh, I'm starting out in the gym, but I'm doing absolutely nothing. You're still getting your good time in the gym. Just focusing on easing ourselves back into that workout routine that we used to do, right? And then after a couple weeks, I would kind of reassess where you are as an individual. If you feel like you are totally okay and can ultimately just go back to your normal routine, go for it. By all means, jump right back in. 2 weeks might be enough for most people to say, hey, I've completely rehashed all of my fitness that I did before. But after that 2 weeks, if you're still thinking, man, I'm nowhere near where I was when I started this hiatus, started this layoff, it's probably a good idea to do the same routine that you just did for another week, or you can slightly increase it. So from the example that we gave, the 10-minute walk, 15 minutes of weights, 20 minutes of stretching, maybe you're gonna go for a 20-minute walk now, do 20 to 25 minutes of weights, and then stick to that 20 minutes of stretching still. At the end of the day, you just want to slowly move back into physical activity. And you don't want to do too much too soon, because that can lead to some overuse injuries, that can lead to mental burnout, and ultimately back to another hiatus from the gym. So if you are somebody who hasn't been to the gym for a long time because of injury or illness, I would first, of course, consult with your doctor. Talk to him and make sure that everything's clear with your health. That's going to be one of the most important things. If you are cleared by your doctor to resume physical activity after your illness or injury, you really want to start with very, very low impact and low intensity options, because your baseline of where you are starting out from your overall fitness capacity is much lower than you were before. And you're actually much lower than your healthier baseline if you didn't work out. So in other words, normally when you work out, you get fitter. And say you stop working out, you're gonna lose those gains, but you're still gonna be decently healthy for most individuals. But if you become injured after not working out, you're going to be going below that baseline of being quote unquote somewhat healthy from not working out, if that makes sense. Go ahead and drop a comment down below if you need me to explain that a little more. It's kind of tough to explain, but hopefully I gave it my best shot. So when thinking about lower impact options, you can do some walking, you can do a stationary bike, low weights, very low weight resistance training, or maybe even some swimming. All of these are really good options to kind of get you back up to baseline, back up to par of what you used to be able to do in your workout routine, and still give you an opportunity to move your body in a meaningful way without the worry that you're going to hurt yourself, injure yourself a little more, and lead to more problems down the road. I also really like to use RPE, or the rate of perceived exhaustion, as my guide for individuals who are just coming back from an illness or injury. So rate of perceived exhaustion, it is essentially a scale of 1 to 10 of how hard you need to work out. So when it comes to a person coming back from this type of issue, I usually like to have them do a 4 to 6 RPE, or a 4 to 6 out of 10 difficulties. So this is pretty easy. You shouldn't be getting terribly out of breath. You shouldn't be feeling like you are killing yourself in your workouts. It should feel like maybe you're getting a very light sweat at most, very light out of breath at most, but for the most part, it should be fairly easy for you. After a couple weeks of kind of going with the flow of this, getting back into your very low impact and low intensity workout routine, you can feel free to add a little more volume, maybe 5 to 10 extra minutes of walking or doing the stationary bike, for example. You're just trying to build up over time. If you're feeling okay. And for some people, you might not be feeling totally okay for more than a couple weeks, and that's totally okay. That's totally okay. Don't beat yourself up over what you used to be able to do, because right now you're trying to just rehab and get yourself back up to par in your workout routine. Don't focus on getting back in your whole routine as well, because what I see a lot of times, people will not focus on their current function and where they are currently at as an individual. They will get so hyper focused on how they used to work out and how they used to be able to move, and they will start paralyzing themselves in their workout routine because they just don't feel like they'll ever get back to where they used to be, when in all reality it doesn't matter. You might not be able to get back where you used to be. You can probably get pretty darn close, but if you are somebody who had a really serious injury or illness, you might always be kind of babying it to some degree. Another good recommendation too is to consult with your doctor throughout your overall journey of getting back into the gym. Frequent checkups, blood pressure work, blood work just in general, depending on what you are going through and how severe it is a very good idea. Go ahead and drop this video a like if that section gave you some good value and you feel more confident in getting back into your workout routine. If it's been a while, and if it's been a while, welcome back. You have been missed.